What's up, guys? Tony Ramirez here, and welcome to the garage. If you're into turning wrenches, fixing up cars, or just keeping your ride in top shape, you're in the right spot. I drop real-world tips, no fluff, just what actually works. So hit that like button, smash subscribe, and let's wrench smarter, not harder. All right, enough intro. Let's jump right in.
Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm diving into the world of manual gearboxes. I'll be exploring how they operate, sharing essential maintenance tips to keep them running smoothly, and discussing the costs involved in both purchasing and servicing these systems. Whether you're a seasoned driver or just curious about manual transmissions, there's something here for everyone. So, let's get started and unlock the secrets of manual gearboxes together. Find the best garage to change your manual gearbox. Price. The role of the gearbox is to transmit the rotation of the engine to the drive wheels of your car. A manual gearbox requires the driver to shift gears manually. To do this, it uses the clutch. Find out more about its features and how it works. How does a manual gearbox work? What's the choice between a manual and an automatic gearbox? What's the difference between an automatic and a manual gearbox? How to use a manual gearbox? Which oil for a manual gearbox? How much does a manual gearbox cost? Find the best garage to change your manual gearbox. See the price for my car. How does a manual gearbox work? A car's gearbox transmits engine rotation and power to the wheels. There are two types of gearbox, manual and automatic. The operation of a manual gearbox relies on different components. The clutch, via the flywheel, it transmits the engine's rotational energy to the gearbox, the gearshift, used by the driver to change gears, linkage, shafts, pinions, or gears. The gearbox consists of two shafts, the primary shaft and the secondary shaft, or gearbox output shaft. These shafts carry pinions, which form gears. These are the gears that provide the multiple ratios. To do this, a pinion must be connected to the secondary shaft. When you actuate the gearshift, you drive a shifter which connects the pinion to the shaft by means of its teeth, also known as clutches. The gearbox works closely with the clutch, transmitting the energy from the clutch to the transmission point via its pinion gear. The purpose of the clutch is to disengage the gearbox from the engine so that you can shift gears. When you depress the clutch pedal, you disengage the clutch and separate the clutch components. You can then operate the gearshift lever to change gear. The system formed by the clutch, gearbox and differential, located on the gearbox output shaft, is called the transmission. It's how the engine's power gets to the drive wheels to drive your car. What's the choice between a manual and an automatic gearbox? First and foremost, you need to choose your gearbox according to your preferences. Some motorists prefer a manual gearbox, even if an automatic gearbox brings a certain level of comfort. Whereas a manual gearbox works by means of gears, an automatic gearbox works by means of a hydraulic torque converter and epicyclic gears. The system automatically selects the ideal gear. A manual gearbox costs less and requires less maintenance. It also generally consumes less fuel, 5 to 15%, but is more demanding to drive, especially in traffic jams. Find the best garage to change your manual gearbox. See the price for my car. What's the difference between an automatic and a manual gearbox? Better low-end torque. However, its cost is higher than a manual gearbox. It generates higher fuel consumption and its responsiveness is less because gears shift less quickly. How do I use a manual gearbox? To use a manual gearbox, you need to use the clutch. Fully depress the clutch to disengage. Without releasing the pedal, shift into the desired gear with the gearbox lever. You can then gently release the clutch. To shift into first gear and start without stalling, take care when releasing the clutch. You need to find what's called the slip point. When you reach this point, you'll feel your car vibrate. You can then press down on the gas pedal with your right foot to start off. Unlike an automatic gearbox, a manual gearbox requires no special maintenance. Gearbox oil does not usually need to be replaced and is considered to guarantee the efficient lubrication of your car for the rest of its life. However, if your manual gearbox is cracking or making noise, this indicates poor lubrication of the sprockets. You need to change the oil as a matter of urgency, or replace the whole gearbox if it's already too late. How much does a manual gearbox cost? How to use a manual gearbox? If the gearbox is damaged, expect to pay between €200 and €3,000 to repair or replace it, including labor. The price depends on whether the gearbox can be repaired or replaced completely. Now you know everything about your car's manual gearbox. As you can see, it requires little maintenance. However, it's important to drive smoothly to preserve it. Don't hesitate to use our garage carburetor if you have any problems with your gearbox. Find the best garage to change your manual gearbox. See the price for My Car Which Oil for a manual gearbox. Steering and amp, transmission clutch mechanical guide engine auto parts symptoms tips and amp, trick steering wheel engine operation manual gearbox manual. Or automatic gearbox manual gearboxes manual gearbox oil manual gearbox press manual gearbox. In conclusion, understanding the operation and maintenance of a manual gearbox is essential for any car enthusiast or owner. Regular upkeep can significantly extend the lifespan of your transmission, ensuring smooth and efficient performance. While the initial cost of a manual gearbox may be lower than its automatic counterpart, the long-term benefits in terms of reliability and driving experience are undeniable. By staying informed and proactive about maintenance, you can enjoy the unique advantages that a manual gearbox offers for years to come. Thank you for watching, and we hope this video has provided you with valuable insights.